What's up, everybody, and welcome back to A Beer A Day with TK. It's a Wednesday, so you know what that means? Time for a WTF Wednesday review. The Ginger Yeti is in the house, and he and I are going to do this beer here. It's called Down Down with the Killer Klown from Streetside Brewery in Cincinnati, Ohio. For those of you who may be new to the program, WTF Wednesday is the one day a week when we try a beer we normally wouldn't. So sometimes that means we do stuff from the big boys, Bud Miller and Coors. Sometimes we do strange offerings from smaller breweries, which is where this fits in. And sometimes we do international beers or stuff that's a little more off the beaten path. Now this is quite interesting. This is a cotton candy Berliner Weisse, and it's obviously tied in to the Insane Clown Posse band.
You like them?
I do not. I don't really know a heck of a lot about them. I mean, I've seen them in passing, but I can't say I've listened to them or know a heck of a lot about them. I know you do.
Well, they're a Detroit band. Mm-hmm. They're real popular in the Midwest. They're
rock rap kind of fusion kind of thing.
They're an interesting, different kind of rap, but they attract the downtrodden, the forgotten, the weirdos, and the not exactly the dregs of society, but just generally the outcasts of the world.
Like yourself.
Yes.
You did go to the Gathering of the Juggalos.
I have been to the Gathering. Whoop, whoop.
And I'm going to throw up a picture of Anderson in his Juggalo.
I have seen ICP multiple times throughout the decades.
The picture up here is going to be Anderson and our two buddies, Dan and Mike, wearing their ICP face paint.
That was probably from the mid to late 90s.
That's old. Now,
back when I was about 100 pounds lighter.
Before we begin, I want to say special shout out to Andrew. He owns D20. It's a bar down in Kettering, Ohio. It's a really cool place. They do a lot of tabletop games, fantasy games, all that kind of stuff. And he was kind enough to hook me up with this beer. I don't think I've ever had a beer from Streetside. Have you? We've got a ghost or a burglar.
That was odd. And now the door's open.
Now we're going to freeze. We tried to tie the door shut, and we did it poorly, so we'll probably be cold. Either way, on with the program. Streetside Brewing. Have you had any of their beers?
I don't know. I should have looked it up before we did this. I'm not sure.
I don't think I have. Now, the can artwork on this is pretty interesting. You can kind of see, that looks like Bobby Hill from King of the Hill.
It totally looks like Bobby Hill.
Did he
going up the west side?
Did he do an ICP episode or something?
I don't know. I know some of the other cartoon shows have. I know that there's what was it?
My son would know.
American Dad did a pretty funny homage to ICP.
Well, there's some ICP-inspired art on here. On the side here is a little logo. That's their kind of thing there, right there. Their dude here. That little logo of the guy running or something. Is that one of their things?
Oh, yeah, it's the Hatchet Man.
I've seen
that. That's a play on the Hatchet Man.
He's holding the brewer's paddle instead of, I guess, the hatchet, right?
Yes.
Now, we do have a little blurb on the side. It says, Down, Down with the Killer Klown, Cotton Candy Berliner Weisse. Whoop, whoop. Get ready to appreciate a brewing miracle that's sure to twist with a Z your taste buds. You see, the family down on the street side had a theory that a tart Berliner combined with the airy subtlety of spun sugar would go down swinging without being more than you bargained for. Sure to be number one with a bullet at the next gathering. There's simply magic everywhere in this beer. Now, I do know that this, what would they say, that the Cotton Candy was the name of a song by ICP, right?
Right, from their 1996 release, Tunnel of Love, before the Disney fiasco.
Now, what's kind of interesting is the lyrics on the side there sounds like who's that, Fall Out Boy or something? That's more than you bargained for.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of Fall Out Boy. I don't listen to that kind of
I'm not either, but I've heard the song. I've got ears and lived for more than 12 years here, bro.
But do you know why they spelled twist the way they did?
General douchebaggery. I don't know why.
It's a reference to Twisted.
What's that, another song or something?
It's one of the first bands that Psychopathic Records signed.
I'm unfamiliar with these folks.
Psychopathic Records is ICP's record label.
There you go. So obviously this is an homage to them, and anything that's music-inspired or sports-inspired, and I'm always game to try.
And with these references, this isn't some clowning nonsense. Obviously these brewers or somebody here at the brewery
fans and
are fans. They're down with the clown. Mm-hmm. They're part of the fam.
Hey,
and they know what's going on.
Like I said, I don't listen to them regularly, but I'm always happy when I see brewers kind of celebrating what they do. Anderson brings back a lot of beers that are metal-inspired or different things like that. We had that Paul Wall-inspired one over there from, the Spindle Tap out of Houston?
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes,
Diamonds in My Mouth with Paul Wall, the People's Champ. I love the music-inspired ones, so this is another one in that, in that same vein. So, 4.5 ABV. Oh, my Lord.
Cotton candy is also slang for something.
Yeah,
Some people call it Nedden. We're not going to really explain what it is, but I think you know.
You know what's funny? I should have asked before I poured this what color you thought it was going to be.
I mean, that's exactly what I expected it to be.
Cotton candy?
Yeah, a reddish, pinkish color.
The color, you know what it reminds me of? It's not even remotely the same color, but whenever I see something that's vivid like this, it reminds me of that, do you remember that terrible beer we had that was the blue ice cream inspired one?
From Cincinnati as well, or from the Cincinnati area, Kings Island.
God, that was one of the worst beers I've ever had.
That was disgusting. They did a piss poor job on that beer.
When I see the bright colors, I was like, my brain panics. Now, I'll break out my Brew HQ chart and immediately put it away because this color is not on the Brew HQ chart.
No, it is definitely not.
What do you think it is? It's almost like a raspberry kind of. You know
raspberry's a good descriptor for that color.
A purplish, reddish kind of. I think it's raspberry.
Raspberry is a good descriptor for that.
Yeah, it looks good. Head was minimal and went away. Again, this is a Berliner Weisse, kind of a sour style kind of beer. Didn't expect a whole heck of it. You got a little. No,
I still have a little bit of head sticking around with some big bubbles.
It's definitely what this smells sweet. I can smell sweetness.
It smells real sweet. And it's kind of got a raspberry.
It does, doesn't it?
Raspberry kind of smell to it. Maybe it's my imagination, but it's almost a...
The door is open and now my glasses are fogging from breathing into this with the cold air.
Maybe it's almost a cotton candy-esque
It is.
Smell.
Yeah, no, it is, 100%. 100%. Now, if I was drinking it blind and didn't see cotton candy, would I immediately say, aha, cotton candy? No, but once you say it and you see it, yeah, that's what it smells like. Sweet, sugary, smells nice. All right. Now, if it's a Berliner Weisse, we should have a nice little bit of tartness to this. I do dig sours. Berliner Weisses aren't super sour, but they should have a nice tartness to it. If you have, which I think would be good, because cotton candy, do you like cotton candy?
Yes.
I despise it. It's too sweet for me. It's super sweet. The other thing I hate is, you know when you eat it and it just kind of like disintegrates in your mouth? That weirds me out, dude. I don't know why. Like, I just don't like it. Usually things are super sweet I don't like, so I'm hoping that the Berliner Weisse bit of it kind of balances out the sweetness with some tartness, which would be magnificent. Ready? Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
There we go. Body-wise, medium light.
Pretty light.
Yeah, medium light. On the low end of medium, high end of light. Nowhere near as sweet as I thought.
No, not at all. That was going to be my first thought. Like, it's not as sweet as I would have thought. You see the color,
you hear cotton candy, and you think, Christ, diabetes, here we go. And I'm already pushing the edge on that one, right? It's not super sweet. You do get a bit of sweetness to it. It almost tastes like a raspberry kind of...
But you kind of get that puckering at the end.
Yeah, 100%. You get the tartness, but it's not over the top of the tartness. As far as the fruit flavor...
It's like a candied raspberry kind of...
Yeah, like a raspberry, cherryish kind of
thing.
Yeah. I like it. I really thought this was going to be a novelty beer.
So did I.
A lot of times when you see stuff that are timed with bands or sports teams, it's, they get you to buy it because you like the sports team or you like the band, and then the beer sucks. Right? Like, what was that one? The heck, who made that? That roller coaster one. The one we were talking about earlier. The blue ice cream one. It was
Sonder.
Sonder Brewing. It is the worst beer I've ever had in my entire life. I still have one in the fridge.
Is it?
So we're coming back in because we had some video problems, i.e. my crappy iPhone ran out of storage.
Meaning he didn't charge it properly.
No, the battery was dying, but that wasn't the problem. The problem was too much space was used.
Because of all his beer photos.
That's right. I've deleted probably 1,000 beer photos. But that's neither here nor there. When we did leave off, we were talking about this beer. And this is Down with the Killer Klown from Streetside Brewing in Cincinnati, Ohio. I think the last thing that we were discussing was essentially my least favorite beer of all time, which was from Sonder Brewing. And it was the Blue Ice Cream...
Kings Island. Blue Ice Cream Ale. Whatever.
Worst beer I've ever had, hands down, absolutely repugnant.
And it was supposed to be a homage to something at Kings Island.
It was brewed in collaboration with Kings Island, which always made me think, didn't someone at Kings Island drink this and say, what the hell is this? I don't want my name on it, but
it was. I'm getting a little warm in here now.
See, we had the heater on. It's kind of warming up a little bit.
But anyways, you said that was the worst beer you ever had.
Yeah.
And that was, we alluded to that because of the bright color of that beer. Yeah. Like, this is a bright color.
Yeah. And reality is, the bright color on this might put some off, but this is a freaking really good beer.
This is a good beer.
I think you get the raspberry kind of cotton candy. You get a little nice tart sour note at the end. I mean, I think it's good.
Now, something we didn't mention originally, but I happened to notice. There's 2 pictures of clowns up here on the top of the can, and both those clowns look like the killer clowns from outer space, which is probably why it says down with the killer clown. So not only is it an ICP reference,
but the killer clowns from outer space.
Killer clowns from outer space reference.
So all in all, pretty cool beer. You know, and again, like I said, for me, when I got this, I thought novelty beer probably won't dig it, but I actually really like this. I think it's a really good beer.
Novelty like an ICP show?
What's that now?
Is it a novelty like an ICP show?
Yeah.
Like seeing them live?
Hey, sure. Look, man, I've gone to weird
Putting
events.
on the clown paint.
I've gone to Broadway musicals that I didn't think that was my thing. I went to go see The King and I saw The Lion King on Broadway. It's not my thing, but I'll go check it out. I went to a cricket match. I went to a Major League Lacrosse championship game. Not my thing, but I'll go and experience it, right? It's what life's about, experiences.
Did you ever go to a tech ball match?
No, that's some weirdness. I'm saving all my money to go to the next Kabaddi match. Kabaddi, I found out about it in England. It's an interesting game.
Not a Buzkashi match?
No. But what I think to myself is, this is a beer like that. You know, you see it and you think, I'll buy it just to check it out. And in reality, it's really good. This is a really well put together beer. You know, you get that nice sweet, but you get the tartness that kind of counterbalances it. Now, is it something I drink a dozen of? No. And I don't think that's what it's designed to be, right? This is what they say, cotton candy Berliner Weisse. It's kind of a unique style, but it hits on everything that I would look for in, you know, a beer like this. So for me, down with the Killer Clown, Streetside Brewing, Cincinnati, Ohio, big thumbs up.
Absolutely. This is delicious. This is a great beer. It's a great Berliner Weisse. I would absolutely give this a big thumbs up. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop. And again,
where did you get this from?
Well, I was going to say a big shout out again to Andrew. He's down in Kettering, Ohio. He owns a bar called D20. Go check it out. It's like a fantasy game inspired, you know, like table, what do you call them? Not board games, I guess, like interactive gaming and all those kind of things. They do stuff
Well, like Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, those kind of things. Yeah, I don't know if they play those exactly, but those kinds of things. Fun place, unique people, and he hooked me up with this beer, and I'm super happy because it's a really good beer. So, you know, thank you, Andrew, for the hookup. One of these days we'll make it down to D20 and maybe do a video from those
Not
spot.
D12.
Not D12, that's Detroit. We're talking Kettering. This is down in the Dayton area. D20 is actually a reference to the 20-sided die, right? Like the gaming dice or whatever. The die has 20 sides on it. But thanks for the beer. Really enjoyed it. Gets 2 thumbs up from us. Hopefully you like the video. You give us a thumbs up. Hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit subscribe. And as always, you got any comments or questions, jump in down below. Have you had down with the Killer Clown? Have you had another ICP-inspired beer or another musical-inspired beer we should be looking for? If so, let us know in the comments. Whoop, whoop.